Well, a very good afternoon, one and all. It is filthy hot here in Adelaide. It's Lawrie Colliver's Twitter channel, and it's in the thick of it, Volume 2. We couldn't get the first one on Twitter, but we're going to have a crack today. It's about 40 here in Adelaide. We've got the supercars, we've got all sorts of activities, and we're just at the Kensington Hotel having a quiet adult beverage. I'm here with my good friend Mahoney, and Bernie, it's hard week for the workers this week. How'd you get on in the butcher shop?
Oh, yeah, she was pretty tough in there, even though the cool room's at the right temperature, Lawrie, but I'm just not in there often enough.
No doubt about that, and plenty to talk about, and we might open up with a bit of cricket, burn, before we get stuck into the footy, because the footy has started. We're into March now, which is good news, and plenty to talk about. Firstly, with the cricket, just with the Indian 2020, I don't know if you saw it, bad timing in terms of for punters, but Glenn Maxwell basically has been the star in the two games, and he's real box office when he gets going.
Oh, yeah, my word, he was right on fire, wasn't he, Lawrie? I mean, what was the numbers he hit, 100 off...
He basically got 100 off 50 balls in the second game. They had to chase 190, and he helped win the first game, which Australia had to chase quite a small target. But I think the one thing I've liked, Burn, about him this summer is the fact that he's been captain of the Stars, and I think it's made him think more about his own game. And I think when you just play a bit as a cricketer and you've got sort of the focus on trying to play for Australia as well as your team in a BBL franchise, you don't actually think enough about your other teammates sometimes. It's just a reflection on normal human nature. I think it applies to footy as well. You're more worried about, in footy, perhaps just getting a kick or whatever.
Yeah.
But certainly in his case, I think it's done him the world of good as captain of the Stars. And his performances in the last two T20s where Australia won for the first time in a series against India is fantastic.
Oh, very good. And you've been down to Tassie and had a look at the Shield cricket down there. What'd you make of that?
Oh, I wish I was in Tassie. It'd be 20 degrees cool.
Cool.
No, well, it's in Adelaide. It was at Adelaide Oval, and we played Tassie.
I don't know where you are these days. I was talking to you yesterday and you were in Sydney.
Yeah, we were up watching the girls play a game yesterday at Drummoyne Oval. But just on Tassie, a couple of interesting things to come out of the four-dayer. South Australia at one point lost 6 for 3, which was very disappointing. And we have, as a Redbacks fan, speaking as a Redbacks fan, we've had plenty of batting collapses the last 2 or 3 years. But a couple of things excited me. I thought Jake Weatherall getting 150 was very good. He's had a pretty lame sort of season, apart from an early 100 in the JLT Cup. Disappointing in the Big Bash. Also quite poor in the Shield, but came back well in this game. But the excitement about Jackson Bird getting 7 wickets in the second innings was great. But what I did think was very exciting was the pace of young Riley Meredith. Now, I don't know if you saw him in the Big Bash or Bernie, but he can bowl 145, 150 clicks, and he was used very well in that Shield game, particularly in the second innings in this sort of weather. He only bowled 3 over spells. Matty Wade used him beautifully, but he bowled as fast as anyone I've seen this summer.
Oh, he really could be one to follow on then, Lawrie. I think you're on the money with him there.
Well, I know a lot of people like him. Warney was talking about him in the Big Bash, but I thought in the 4-day stuff he was fantastic. 3 Shield games to go, and I think if he can stand up and perform at that level in these last matches, then I certainly have him in my 17
that's really good.
For the Ashes. Yeah, well, it's exciting to see a young fast bowler come through.
Need some new blood.
We do. So that's news there. Now, footy got underway last night, Burn. We were talking last week quite a bit about these new rules, the 666 and all that sort of stuff. And I only had a quick look and I saw the scores, but judging by what might have happened last night, we might be in for a new era of AFL by the sounds.
Yeah, as discussed on Saturday, our last segment, in the thick of it, we were talking about how the game will evolve back and we'll have bigger scores. I mean, they've kicked Carlton's kicked 100 and Essendon has kicked 91, but the point that I was making on Saturday, that they will definitely go deep into their tall forwards, and it was really good to watch the one-on-ones, and there was reminiscences of big packs of the early 80s. So the game's back. We were talking about it Saturday, hoping that it'll be that way, and it's proved that that's what it looks like. That's the way that football's going to go.
Well, it's only one game, but the signs are good, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And there's the other exciting thing was that the number one draft choice that Carlton got. They don't get a lot of things right in their draft, but they had to take this guy because he was number one. It was just the force of numbers. Someone else did the work for him, I think. But anyway, young Sam Walsh, I did discuss that on the 5AA when I was doing my pre-draft, that he would play round one and to be able to dominate against men. And he's gone out and had 28 last night with 8 inside 50s, and just looks like he's going to be a real power player. He's just exciting.
And I mean, you look at some of the great draft picks at number one over the years, and to make a good start like that and go on, potentially he could have a 10-year career and help lift Carlton out of the doldrums, because they have been pretty ordinary the last few years, haven't they?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's this kid. He already looks like a future captain. I mean, they don't come along very often where they just step in and do that. You know, the Judds and Hodges and those guys have. But with this kid, he's out of the box. I mean, he would make Rankin and co just look a great under him. Nothing against those guys, but this kid, he's just a footballer, midfielder, ready to go.
So we're in the thick of it, edition number 2. Very hot here at the Kensington Hotel. Just starting to lose my voice a little bit, so just a quick little amber ale there just to keep going. Burn, good start to the season. Hopefully it'll continue. A little throwaway line there about captaincy. A few of the Port fans a little bit concerned about the dual captaincy role this year. How do you see that?
Yeah, I think because of the 149-year history of the captain wearing number 1 and only having one captain, but the game has changed so much that if you're leaving it all to one guy, and this is my point of view, is why they've gone with dual captaincy, is you can just share the load, because when the others go home, in your free time, you've got that much media that you have to do. You've got to go to all the functions for all the sponsors and all that sort of carry on. It just takes up a lot of time from a captain. So if you've got 2 of them doing it, it gives the other guy a break. And similarly, if you're on the ground, and it's nice to have a leadership group, but not everyone delivers the message the same. So if you've got 2 guys that are similar, deliver the same sort of message, and it can happen in a game with the rotations being this high, Lawrie, as they are, that with an injury, I mean, you could have both captains off the ground at the same time. This could be the 20-minute mark of the final quarter, where you want to go red, yellow, green. I don't know whether a lot of people understand that people play in those codes of red is just guard all over the ground, yellow is we're slowing down, green we're all go. It's not everyone's ideal situation to call that, and with the runners now, they can only go out on the ground after each goal. So you need more help on the ground, because sometimes it's absolutely crucial to call what colour you're doing. And your side was the first side to come up with that, of course, Hawthorn.
Well, we've got a clever coach, we've got some clever players. So, and I hear Tom Mitchell's been doing some squats today, which is a bit of breaking news. The Hawks put something up on their various social media outlets. So a few suggestions for Hawk fans that old Tommy might be back a bit quicker, but it's the sort of injury you don't really want to rush too early, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's true. And of course, the appointment of Stanton as captain, I mean, it seems like it's a bit out of
Stratton,
sorry, out of left field, but
well, he's a great defender.
He certainly does play like one, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, just when he's got it, he's got it. When he hasn't got it, he's trying to get it back. He puts the pressure on the play. He's a good footballer. He can evade when he's got it, and he puts the pressure on when he hasn't.
Now, it's getting really hot out here, so we'll have one last thought, and it's a serious thought. Nick Rewalt made some comments about the drug situation in footy this week. Interesting comments. I actually heard him in the car coming here. Suggesting, basically if a footballer goes out and has half a dozen beers, he's more trouble than if he could try something else that's not as tame as that. Got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have, Lawrie. I think they're pushing the guys back to tiny little rooms on their own. I think the footy clubs have got to get away from this. The 6-day break, you can't have a drink at all, and let them do what legally you can do. But you can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, they end up finding a way to find their own fun. I mean, it's you drink the beer, the wine, the whatever, it's got sugar in it. You go the other way, and all of a sudden you're snorting cocaine. We've all got a problem.
Well, you want them to. I think the word you said, let them do some legal stuff and let them blow off a bit of steam. And I think if we all have our chance once a week to blow off a bit of steam, we're all better people, and we just take it easy within the realms of the law. But yeah, it does worry me when you hear some stories around the traps of different people, and you'd like to think that we can all go about our business and be normal and not have to risk ourselves. That's the other thing, is the risk of the stuff as well. Some of these things that people take, not ideal.
Right. I mean, it's just better for the whole game. I mean, I mean, they skinny test them 3 times a week. They can tell them if they've driven past Hungry Jacks. I mean, it just... And most guys, they're going to go out and have 20 or 30 beers, but it's similarly saying to... It's like little kids. If you're saying you can't do it, they will do it. So let them have some freedom, and I think, the whole thing will be a whole lot better.
So any thoughts heading into the week, Bern, with more footy, bit of JLT on Fox Footy and all that sort of stuff? Anything else you're looking forward to the next few days?
I'm just looking forward to the other games to see whether they turn out the same as the Carlton-Essendon games. I think they will, and I think the people will really enjoy the way the game's going to go.
And speaking of enjoy, I hope you enjoyed our little chat here, and we look forward to catch up with you next time on In the Thicket with Lawrie
and Bernie. Thank you.
Cheers. Have a good weekend.